Hello there, this is Welsh ASMR 82. Hey, how you doing? So in this video, which is an ASMR football video, nice and calm, relaxing, catch up on the most recent results, and today we're focusing on the Champions League, then we'll look at the Europa League, and finally onto the Conference League. Now we do have a little league competition going on, but I'm such an idiot, I'm so forgetful. I forgot to do the second legs, so I'm way behind in terms of the table. You keep playing, but I'm never going to catch you now. And I did quite well in the first legs. But yeah, I was sat there watching them, and I thought, oh my god, I haven't predicted. So yeah, I'm an idiot, that's my confession. So I got my excuses in early. And let's look at the results then. So this is the Champions League. We have some really exciting results to look at, but let's look first at the upcoming semi-finals. We got Arsenal against Paris Saint-Germain, we got Barcelona against Inter. And I have my thoughts. I'll leave that with you, and I will talk about how I think they're going to go in a second. Right, let's before that then look at the quarter-finals, because that they were just some outstanding matches. I loved every second of it. So many goals, so much action, and absolutely top-tier football. Right then, so obviously we need to start off with Arsenal against Real. Crazy, crazy, crazy match. I watched this live, and I'm not even a proper Arsenal fan. I do enjoy watching both Arsenal and Tottenham. And because when I lived in England, they were both my local team, and yeah, I was just like practically out of my seat when Rice's first goal went in, but when the second one went in, oh my god! And then to top it off, Marino scored that lovely finish to make it 3. So the funny thing about this is, I said in the prediction video I did like a couple of weeks ago that I was like, Real Madrid, when they get into the stage of the competition, they just pull it out of the bag, they go into a different gear, they find the goals, they get to the end of the match, they catch up when they've gone behind, blah blah blah. And then I went on this big rant about like how Arsenal don't have any firepower, and where are the goals going to come from, and Martinelli's not scoring, and Saka's out injured, and they haven't got Gabriel Jesus, and blah blah. And yeah, they just did a Real Madrid. They found the goals from set pieces, the first 2, and the most incredible thing about it is that Rice has never in his career, let alone for Arsenal, scored with a direct free kick. Like, why has he not been taking them? Like, what lunatic. Surely he's done that in training. Why, like, oh honest to goodness, like the questions. Anyway, sensational, particularly the second one, that was my favourite. The first one, how it like bent around, yeah, beautiful, but that second one, unsavable. You know, they got Courtois in goal. If it was able to be saved, it would have been saved. So that was a heck of a shell shock, so 3-0, but at that point I was thinking, oh, you watch now, they're going to come back and score 4 in the Bernabeu next week, and so I didn't get too excited, because I was like, well, we'll see what happens. Let's not get too overexcited at this point. 3-0, we've been here before. Real Madrid can come back from this. Like, it's on, so don't celebrate anything just yet. We'll come back to the second leg in a second, shall we? Okay, so Bayern Munich then lost at home to Inter. Now, I've been tooting the horn for Inter since day one. I've said they're going to make the final. I said against Liverpool. Obviously Liverpool are out, so that's not going to happen. Not that I've got a lack of faith in Bayern Munich, although I do feel, obviously they're going to win the Bundesliga any day now. They're going to have it confirmed. If it's not already, I think Bayern Leverkusen drawing on the weekend has kind of handed it to them, but because they were already 6 points behind. There's a 5-point gap with only a couple of games to go. It's technically, mathematically possible for Bayern to not win the Bundesliga this year, but it does look like Harry Kane's going to win his first trophy. Or a shield in the Bundesliga's case. So, but I think against better teams they do look a bit exposed. I remember that match against Barcelona earlier on in the competition. And Inter are so good in defence. They are like literally the masters of defence, aren't they? And I was watching some highlights of Martinez's performance, and I gotta say, he is probably the best striker in the world at the minute. I know everyone talks about Mbappe and Haaland, but in terms of what he does for your team, I think there are some times where Mbappe, in the match against Arsenal, for example, just looked completely lost at times. Did one or two things, but wasn't really in the game that much. In some matches, Kane can be quite quiet for long spells. I think Haaland maybe doesn't contribute to his whole team's performance as much as he could. And he just makes the runs that he wants to be fed the ball. You know, he wants the ball to be fed on a sixpence to him sometimes. Maybe that's overly harsh, but I don't watch him that much, to be honest. But Martinez, I gotta say, he's a complete package, isn't he? The way he holds up the ball, the way he brings his teammates into the match, he's just wonderful, just absolutely wonderful to watch, a joy to watch, like a proper old-fashioned striker. He can head the ball, he can run with the ball, he can volley, he can do anything, he can score from any position. He's just like, I think he reminds me a little bit, this is going to sound really weird, but if you agree with me, put it in the comment section. He kind of reminds me of Alan Shearer, in the sense that he's not like massive, but he's a target man, and he's a poacher, and he's like a complete forward, you know. Maybe I'm waxing lyrical, I don't know, but I just think he's amazing. So I was not surprised, and I did say to everyone that Inter would win over 2 legs, so when I saw that result I was not massively shocked. And this, I wasn't massively shocked either. Dortmund have had such a weird season, particularly domestically, and 4-0 against this Barcelona team with that man Rafinha playing for them. 4-0, I think. I wasn't massively surprised at that. Very disappointed, obviously, because I really wanted Dortmund to go on and get to the final again, but at this point in time I was like, nah, it's over. And lastly, Paris Saint-Germain against Aston Villa. This match could have gone either way. Similar to when Aston Villa beat Bruges in the previous round, I thought that Bruges could have won the match. Aston Villa were not bad, I don't think. Maybe you'll disagree, but I thought Kvaratskhelia, his goal was not against the run of play, but just out of the blue. I think Aston Villa were sort of dealing with the match quite comfortably, and then it was like this fantastic goal from him. And then a late goal at the end. So the 3-1, obviously, if it had been 2-1, at that point I would have had a bit more faith that they could get back into it. So at this point I'm thinking, with the 4 matches, alright, it's kind of done. Those 4 there, apart from Inter Barca, which I don't believe that Bayern, I don't believe the Bayern can get into this quite easily, but you never know. But 3-0, 4-0 and 3-1 is over. And although the results didn't change overall, there were very close attempts at getting the goals required to get back into it, which I was so impressed with. Aston Villa were absolutely superb. I watched this match, and they were just throwing people forward, obviously, to get the goals, and these 2 came on the break. To be fair, Paris Saint-Germain could have scored another 2 on the break as well. I'm not saying that they were poor, but just, I think, in general, Aston Villa deserved to win it on the match on the night. But over the 2 legs, I think it was absolutely fair that Paris Saint-Germain went through. Gutted for Aston Villa, obviously. The thought that they could be back, or not back, but in the Champions League for the first time and get a semi-final spot is amazing. But obviously they've done themselves proud, and well done. Talking about doing yourselves proud, Guirassy, 3 goals against Barcelona. And yeah, I thought, apart from the own goal, that it was kind of on at one point. I thought, oh god, this might happen. They are so much better at home than they are away from home, particularly this season. But unfortunately, Dortmund went out. And, you know, I said that Bayern are capable of coming back into it. They scored 2 goals in San Siro against Inter, which is impressive in itself. Kane with one of them, Dyer with a header, with the English connection there. But overall, Inter, I didn't really ever see them realistically losing. Yeah, Martinez was absolutely amazing again. And lastly, this match. Oh my god, I could talk about this match for another 10 minutes, to be honest. And I'm going to stick my neck out here and say that, and I know that the Real Madrid fans are not going to be happy with me, but I think the VAR decisions were correct. And I saw this chart on Reddit the other day about how many decisions have gone against Real Madrid via VAR. And it's like, apart from one other team in La Liga, I think they're like second worst off from VAR, and they are bottom in terms of positive outcomes from VAR. So they haven't had any penalties or whatever decisions through VAR, whereas they've had penalties against them. But I do believe in VAR, and actually I was thinking about the Mbappe penalty moment. I just don't think that Rice touches him. Yes, he puts his arm, so it's not even around him, he's not holding him, he just puts his arm around him so he knows where he is as he's looking at the ball coming in from the corner. And so that's not an offence. You can put your arm around someone and just have, like, just lightly touch them so that you know when they've moved away from you, because obviously he's so quick. I wouldn't want to be marking him, Mbappe, anyway. Mbappe dived, like he did actually dive, and to be honest, when I've seen it in replays, I thought maybe Mbappe should have been booked. Maybe he should be lucky that he wasn't. But I do think that the Arsenal goal, the Arsenal penalty decision that they got, which Saka didn't score, I thought that was a bit soft, but I've seen them given. But yeah, so I agree with both decisions, but I can understand why you'd be angry. If I was supporting Real Madrid, I would be angry at those decisions because you don't want that to happen. But you know, the penalty decision for Arsenal in Arsenal's favour was correct, and it was missed by the referee at the time. And the second decision was given by the referee, but when he looked at it again, it was overturned. And actually, I'm quite happy because I don't want to encourage people to just drop to the floor in the box and be dramatic. It's just not on. And Arsenal won, and now there's talk about Bukayo Saka being targeted as a future Real Madrid player if they lose Vinicius Jr. So, yeah, I think Arsenal are rightly in the semi-finals, and at this point in time, I'm thinking to myself, now that Saka's back in the team, Martinelli starts to find his scoring boots again, I'm thinking to myself, do you know what? Like, there's not actually much argument why they can't win it. Okay, let's look at the tree. How do I do that? Knock out. So we've got Arsenal against Paris Saint-Germain there. Pretty equal, to be honest. Paris Saint-Germain have been brilliant in this year's competition. Arsenal have been fantastic. I'm going to say Arsenal to win and get to the final. And Barcelona have been outstanding. Inter have been my favourites all the way through this competition. So what am I going to do? Am I going to say Inter to make it and put up Barca? It's going to be the biggest game they've had all season. They can do it, but my word, is going to be hard. This Barcelona team are absolutely fantastic. And if they do get through, then Arsenal will hate that, because Arsenal obviously lost their only Champions League final to Barcelona. So I think they might prefer Inter, although if they do get Inter, I think it's going to be a 0-0. Because I just don't see them scoring against them. So, that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking Arsenal-Inter final, with a caveat, little asterisk, saying, yeah, but this is no walk in the park. Paris Saint-Germain have been excellent. Barcelona are outstanding. I kind of have to put my money where my mouth is with Inter, otherwise, you know, I can't say from day one, oh yeah, they're going to reach the final, and then be like, oh no, they're not. so I've got to put my money where my mouth is, but I do think that Barcelona, out of the 4 teams left, are probably the best one. We'll soon find out. Okay, I hope you enjoyed that. Shall we look at the Europa League then? And then lastly, hang around because we will be looking at the Conference League as well. So we have our semi-finals. We have Tottenham against Glimt. They couldn't have wished for a better semi-final in a competition. Ange Postecoglou needs to win something. I talked about this in the other week when I did a Tottenham deep dive. Man United needs to win a competition. Athletic Bilbao would be at home if they were there, and I said that they were my favourites to face Lazio, who obviously have gone out. So, Glimt, why can't they get into the final? I can't see a reason why they can't get into the final. Particularly that they would probably have preferred to draw Spurs, as, you know, crazily erratic are their results. And their performances at times, I'm speaking about the Spurs that I saw last night, I agree that, you know, they didn't put out their best team from the start against Nottingham Forest at home, because they're focusing on this competition now, you know, but they were pretty shocking in the first half. Even with their, you know, anyone else's backup players would be, you know, not that good, but Spurs' backup team are excellent. The misses Richarlison had, oh my god. So I think at this point in time, Man United have been extremely strong. So in this competition, obviously not in the Premier League, losing home to Wolves on the weekend. Their home record has been absolutely appalling. But after the game, which we'll talk about in a second, I think that Athletic Bilbao are the favourites to go through, and I think the Spurs are the favourites to go through, but I am not saying anything against this Glimt team, and obviously the story would be amazing if they were to win it, or even just get to the final, to be honest, but to win it, you know, a Norwegian team, that's, you know, that's the stuff I love, those sort of stories. So that would be awesome. But I would love, obviously, Athletic Club, one of my favourite clubs, and I've been to Bilbao, I've seen the stadium, it's a wonderful place. For them to be in the final, you cannot, with a vociferous crowd, you cannot bet against them. Let's talk about some of these results, because they were amazing games. So Glimt in the snow beat Lazio. Apparently it could have been about 5-0, I've heard. They were all over Lazio. Lyon Man United 2-2. Rangers got away from Ibrox with a 0-0 somehow. Athletic Club missed a penalty. They were just all over them. Red, yellow card cancelled, and then there was a red card. Alright, so it was just defending for the whole game, but yeah, goal ruled off aside. Then they missed a penalty. They were just all over them, like 19 shots to 4, 3 on target to 0. So yeah, the 10 men quite early on for Rangers, really struggling against a fantastic team. A really, really good team. One of the best in Spain this year. And then losing quite early on in the match put me in a little bit of a panic, but then Spurs did get back into it, like I said the other day. One of their informed players this season, Pedro Porro. So taking a 1-all to Frankfurt, I personally didn't think would be enough. I thought Frankfurt would be okay with a 1-all. They'd probably win it out in Germany. And then we had the home matches now. This was controversial because I think Rangers should have been awarded a goal. A penalty, excuse me. Dessers literally had his shirt ripped. I'm saying literal for a reason. His shirt was ripped in two by the challenge in the box. So as much as I want to be all, oh, Athletic Bilbao were amazing, Nico Williams, who's now injured incidentally, I'm not sure when he's coming back, he was outstanding. They had 22 shots to 7, their goals expected ratio was 2.7, blah blah blah. But Rangers should have had a penalty. If that's not a penalty, if your shirt is ripped by someone pulling it in the box, what other evidence do you need to get a penalty? Why didn't they ask the referee to go back over and have another look at it? It was bizarre, and so I feel really sorry for Rangers, because at that point it was 0-0, and it really, goals change matches in such a way, Athletic Bilbao looked pretty unbothered for the whole match, apart from on the break a little bit. An early goal like that, quite early on in the match, would have really changed everything. And to be honest, Sunset's goal was a little bit, if I remember off the top of my head, it was a little bit, oh no, I can't remember if it was a weird decision or not. I can't remember what the decision was, so I'm not going to give a judgment call on it, but I do think that Rangers should have had a penalty strongly. Then a brilliant display, defensive display. As much as I criticise Spurs, they can do it sometimes. Apparently Frankfurt were all over them for large periods of the match. Solanke scored the penalty, really stupid penalty to give away, to be fair, and they clung on, and I'm just so happy for them, because obviously it's been a very difficult season. That was a really fantastic defensive performance, and it shows that they can do it when they want to. You don't have to attack all the time, Ange. You don't have to. And then this one I was watching, I was out for a meal and I wanted to keep an eye on it, so I had the scores ticking over, and I could see Lazio obviously were 2-0 down from the first half, then they went 2-all, then they went 3 on the 93rd minute. They got the second, so they were going out until the 93rd minute and went to extra time. Diaz scored not long into extra time, and I thought, oh, there we are, Lazio have got it, that's the story of Bodo Glimt over and done with. And then Helmerson scored in the 109th to take it to penalties, and then they won on penalties. I think Lazio will be absolutely gutted. They had 3 penalties saved or missed, and yeah, it was a really missed opportunity to tip the match over, to then be winning it in extra time. Oh, they must be absolutely gutted. How often do you get into a semi or a quarter-final and be winning it in extra time in the quarter-final, and then go out at home on penalties? They can't guarantee they're going to be in this situation again to get a trophy in Europe, so yeah, that's hard to take. And then this match, oh my god. So I was in the pub after I had my food, watching this on the big screen, and I left on the 90th minute. I was like, okay, let's go, and we'll go somewhere else, and we'll whatever. And that's when all the goals went in. So Ugarte scored in the 10th minute, then Dalot on the 45th minute in extra time, and then second half Tolisso and Tagliafico. So at that point it was 2-all, so 4-4. Is it 4-4? Yeah, 4-4. No, I can't remember. 4-4 in aggregate. Then Cherki, with 10 men, Cherki and Lacazette scored, so they were 2 goals down in extra time. Fernandez on the 114th minute. Mainu to equalise on the 120th minute of extra time. And then good old Harry Maguire, everyone's favourite meme, scoring on the 121st minute. And yeah, it was absolutely sensational. I gutted I wasn't in the pub. It would have been mental in there, because they were vast majority were Man United fans in there. They were showing Rangers behind the bar, Spurs on one end, and I was watching that one, and then to my side I was keeping an eye on the Man United game, because there was much more going on. But yeah, that's just a sensational result, and that could be a result that Spurs you want to win the title, to win the cup. So fair play to them. I think that they got through against a really good Lyon team, and will be devastated incidentally, because they were obviously winning. The sending off incidentally was not categorically. I was literally livid, but I had to keep my voice down, because obviously, like I said, I was in a pub with Man United supporters. The sending off is an absolute joke, and I cannot believe, well, because it was his second yellow card for Tolisso, I don't think VAR can get involved. Basically, I think it was the defender, what's his name? Have they got the lineup? I can't remember his name. Euro, was it Euro? Run down the right, tripped over his own feet, and then they sent Tolisso off. And I was like, he didn't even touch him. What are you doing? If it was a straight red card, then I think VAR gets involved. But if it's I've watched it loads of times, and I'm absolutely sure that he doesn't even like come close to him. Like he literally, it's a joke. He's running along, and he just kind of clips his back foot, falls over, and then he gives the closest Lyon player to him a yellow card, who's already had a yellow card. And I was like, oh my god, is it just me? But has he just sent someone off for looking at someone falling over? Like, just a joke, an absolute joke. Okay, so that is the Europa League. Let's lastly then check out the Conference League, which, as we know, I think we've established is my favourite one because it's so random. So we have Betis against Fiorentina. I've said from the day one it's going to be Fiorentina, Chelsea, and I've not been proved wrong just yet. But Gordon, I did not expect to qualify, so well done to them. The two Polish teams have done themselves absolutely proud. Well done to them. Great for Polish football. Sad for them to go. Celje, remarkable to take it so far against Fiorentina, who, let's not forget, I would say, I think I said this in the preview video, but they must have the most wins of any team in the history of in the Conference League, because they've made it to 2 finals and now they're at the semi-final. So in terms of like the overall table of teams that have ever competed in this, I think they're probably number 1. So for Celje to take them all the way is just remarkable, and wow, Swedish football, that's fantastic. I really thought that Rapid Vienna were firm favourites to get through. Let's take a look at that. So Chelsea beat Legia Warszawa 3-0 in Warsaw. Then Rapid Vienna beat Djurgården in Stockholm. Celje lost at home to Fiorentina, and Real Betis beat Jagiellonia Białystok in Spain, in Seville. So at this point I'm thinking, well, it's over. The away teams and Real Betis are all through. Celje really took it to the end. If it wasn't for the brilliant Moise Kean, then Celje would be flying the flag for Slovenian football in a semi-final. Białystok 1-1 with Real Betis. Legia Warszawa beat Chelsea. I think Chelsea are going to be one of my next picks for deep dive team. When I take a team and I do a deep dive on their entire season, because they've had the most weird season. Looked so flat, lifeless, there's nothing in them. Legia could have scored a third, apart from Cucurella, who's had a fantastic season. They looked really, really slow, and yeah, there's another goal ruled off for Cucurella there. Yeah, just they looked like disinterested, as if it was already done, and that, big win for Legia away in London, good for them. And then this one, wow, 2 red cards for Rapid Vienna. I didn't watch the match, I've seen the goals, and Djurgården were ruthless in front of goal, I gotta say. But yeah, they got through. They managed to take it to extra time, 2-2, and then they scored. Gulliksen scored 2 extra time goals. By that point, there's a red card in the 7th minute for Sangare. And then the second red came right at the end with Yao. So, yeah, brilliant result for Djurgården. So happy for them, I'll be rooting for them. But let's realistically look at what's going to happen. So probably it's going to be quite an easy game for Chelsea, as long as they actually bother to turn up this time. And this one is so close. Wow, it literally 50-50, isn't it? I'm going to stick to my guns and say that Fiorentina, particularly with the form of Moise Kean, will reach the final. And unfortunately, I think they're going to lose their 3rd final in a row against Chelsea, which is going to be heartbreaking. I will be supporting La Viola, though. One of my favourite kit designs in terms of like the purple. It's just awesome. I love a Fiorentina top. And Betis just as much chance really of getting through. I just think, particularly with obviously the GOAT Anthony. But yeah, I think that. Oh no, he can't play for them in Europe, can he? Because he. Oh no, can he? I'm not sure actually. Is he in their squad? I'll have to find out. Someone tell me in a comment. And yeah, but for me, I think Fiorentina to get to the final. Right then, it's a much longer video than I've done recently, so I hope you enjoyed it. And if you want to give me a like, then it's just down there, a comment just by there. Let me know if you're happy with the results, if you're gutted, what do you think about the VAR decisions, particularly for Real Madrid, who you think is going to win each of the 3 trophies at this point now, and if you are subscribed, then don't press this button down the bottom, but if you aren't, then click that. Join my Patreon if you love what I do, and I'll see you really, really soon with a preview video. Or shall I do a preview video? I probably won't do a preview. I've kind of done the preview today, haven't I? I'll do a results video though shortly after the semi-finals. So I'll see you on the other side. Good luck to all the teams, and good night to you. Thanks so much, everyone. Bye 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 bye.